Right, so today has been the second full day that we've had to work on the boat, and we've been busy. First job of the day today was actually the keel bands and trying to get the keel bands off. And so three different sections, or four sections, but three sections. The first one was the bow. So the bow was just secured. I don't know whether you'll be able to see, but there were bolts that were pushed through the through the keel band through to the hull, but not secured with any nut on the other end. They were just kind of glassed into the hull, and actually we ended up just pulling them out because they'd really kind of welded themselves into the keel band, and so there was no way that these were gonna shift. But a bit of wiggling, and actually it wasn't too bad. The holes are pretty good, and we'll secure new ones with probably raw plugs and maybe a bit of something going in there as well, a bit of resin or something to try and sort that out. But you might be able to see, it's getting later in the day, so you may not now, but we had you might be able to see the holes where they were secured. So the next section was around, I don't know whether you'll see, we've been working with everything on the trailer to get it done, but the slot gasket and the kind of keel band that was either side of the slot gasket, which actually was much the same, so we can't access that from inside the boat, and therefore, because of the false floor, as you can see here, so we had no access to bolt heads, even if there had been any, so we guessed there wouldn't be because no one could have put them in. So again, wiggling, pulling, a little bit of manipulation, but they came through. And then the last section actually was the stern, the aft keel band, and I don't know whether you can see, this one had definitely been replaced, and because it's accessible, there were bolts with nuts on the end, nuts inside the hull, bolts on the outside, and so we were able to access the bolts to get to the stern where the keel band would be. Now, what we will need to do is replace the slot gasket and get that done. This will need some fairing along here to try to give us a nice level, but we will take the keel bands as is, as a template to get those replaced. And then the next job was the thwart and the centerboard casing, which was a right pig. So that was a real pig of a job, because it was mastic, and actually there seemed to be, I think on one side, we think there was possibly a bolt that was coming up from inside the tank into the bottom of the board, or certainly into this, and the mastic we could not break. So no amount of wiggling was going to shift that. So we ended up using an old saw blade with that had been amended, and effectively running the saw blade up under the thwart to try to be able to cut these away, and managed. This side actually came away pretty cleanly. I don't know whether you can see, but clearly there's some tidying up where that side, and you can probably see that it's lifted, and that was an absolute pig of a to get that one up, so that will need reglassing and sorting out. However, it's done, it's out, and so that gives us opportunity to do the next job, which will be getting the keel out, which we've had a look at today. It definitely needs shot blasting or sandblasting or something, probably re-epoxying, so we'll get that away as the next job. But really, we think we're probably at a point where we're not far off being able to stop taking things apart and removing things and starting to put things back together, and hopefully be able to then start to focus on some of the cosmetic jobs that we will have. So you can see all the way through there's little bits of cosmetic work that's required. We've just used the jet washer to blast off some of the old flaky paint, so that's why there's grey flakes everywhere. one of the things we were able to source this week was some coloured gel coat from East Coast Fiberglass Supplies, I think they're called, which actually had an article on their website about Devon Yawl colours and colours that they've used before for old Devon Yawl boats. So we've bought and ordered, it has arrived. We haven't had a chance to have a look yet and to try to colour match it, because we need to do some polishing first, but we will be polishing to check the colour, and then we will try with those pre-mixed colours to see whether they fit. So we've got the blue, we've got the cream, and then we've also got this grey, which is on the tanks. Still plenty to do. We're going to be doing some investigation in the tanks to see what's in there. Buoyancy is a big one that we need to resolve next, but the good news is it looks like I've sourced some sails, so that's one big thing that we were concerned about, and I thought it was going to be very difficult to do, but it looks like we've sourced some sails. So more to follow. We will update next time. Thank you.